Hello, Oak Middle School parents and families. Welcome to English class. I'm Sonia Ramirez, and I'm really excited to be your child's English teacher this year. I know we've been spending a lot of time in front of the screen, so I'm going to try to make this as quick and but informative as possible. And always, you are welcome to reach out to me via email, which is posted right here in the slide, and ask me any specific questions or follow-up questions regarding this presentation or the class. You can also visit my website, although right now all the assignments are posted using Google Classroom. But you're welcome to check out my website, get some more information about me, look at some pictures of what my classroom might look like if we were physically in the classroom, and another way to contact me as well if you prefer. So let's get started. So a little background about me. I was born and raised in LA and I moved down here for college. So I went to UCSD, studied literature and writing, and then stuck around and got my credentials and master's degree from UCSD as well. And then I started my teaching career at High Tech High, a project-based learning charter school where they also have a graduate school. So I received my secondary master's degree there. And after teaching about 8 years at High Tech High, I came over to San Diego Union High School District, where I taught English at Carmel Valley for 3 years. This is my fourth year in the district, my first year at Oakcrest Middle School. So I was telling the students, I know exactly how they're feeling being at a new school and supposed to be meeting new people, and yet we're in this virtual setting where we're not actually physically meeting the people or getting to experience the campus. So I really feel for what the students are going through. It's a little bit odd, but also really sad at the same time. So I'm very eager to get back inside the classroom. Before we get started on some of the details of my class, I wanted to share this interesting infographic with you about reading. And so this graphic shows the difference between three different students, the number of words they hear, obviously, depending on how much time they spend reading, their vocabulary is more expansive, how much that adds up to by the time they're in sixth grade, and then some of the results compared to their peers on the standardized test. Now, of course, as a parent and teacher, I know that a standardized test is only one very limited way of measuring a child's aptitude, intelligence, talents, and skills. And although I think we could still agree that reading is one of those very fundamental and critical skills, regardless of standardized tests or whatnot, we know that a child's ability to comprehend what they've read is critical. Having a diverse and expansive vocabulary also critical. The ability to sit and stay focused and giving their attention to one thing is something that is something that we're losing in our children with all of the media and the technology that's in front of them all the time. And then, of course, building their creativity and imagination, where books kind of allow us to come up with these alternate worlds and scenarios and characters using our brain as opposed to getting that image or idea imposed on us from another source of medium. So, regardless of what they choose to study, what career they decide to pursue, I really believe reading is absolutely critical. And so, one of my goals as an English teacher is to not only give them a space and an opportunity to read, but if they don't already enjoy reading, that they can find that enjoyment and love for reading again that maybe they lost when they were in elementary school. So, keeping that in mind, I do encourage, and I call it homework, right? Daily independent reading, 30 minutes a day. That is their only consistent English homework. But there is no way that I am checking it every day. So I am not going to have you sign something every day. I'm not going to have them write something about what they read every day. I just found that in my experience that those things is what makes reading tedious and painful for students. And so really I want them to focus on just reading and enjoying reading and letting that independent reading almost becoming a habit, that that's something that they do every day. Maybe it's right before bed, maybe it's right before dinner, as you're cooking dinner or whatever it is, that there is some sort of routine where reading is now a regular thing for them. And it can be, I think if we work together to kind of encourage that and foster that, that it can be a routine for them, so that, it's not just, okay, you need to read because your English teacher said so, and I know she's not checking, but something that might be helpful to know is at the end of the quarter or semester, we will be doing a book club presentation where they need to talk about and present on one of the books that they finished. I will also be checking in with students about the books that they read and how the reading is going, where they're reading, if they're reading, and all of those things. So hopefully, those kind of bigger picture accountability checkpoints that I'm putting in will encourage them to read independently and then develop that as a habit. I'm also recommending paper books, just for the obvious reason that our children are on technology so much, especially nowadays. Public libraries are offering free contactless pickup service. Make sure your student always has an independent reading book, so when they're done reading one, they should have one waiting as soon as they're done. And class novels that we're providing do not count as independent reading. So I want them to find something that they want to read, not reading something because I told them that it's an assigned reading. Some of the routines you may already be aware of, or something I think that would be helpful for you to know. Like many of the teachers here at Oakcrest, I do an opening ritual to assess them, to get to know them, but to also take attendance. So once we're done with the opening ritual, students may be marked absent or tardy. Weekly slides, which you've probably seen, they're available in Google Classroom, and I'm also sending them out every Sunday through Aries. So if you want to get a sneak peek on what the agenda is for the week, any homework assignments, and you're kind of using Sunday to help get your child prepped for the week, those slides might be helpful to kind of make sure they're starting on Monday morning on the right track. Um, Asynchronous Wednesday, so you may already be aware that English is one of the classrooms where we are doing asynchronous learning on Wednesday. So instead of trying to squeeze in a bunch of stuff in 35 minutes, Wednesday morning, an assignment will be posted on Google Classroom. There will be videos, there will be websites, something for them to complete, and then they turn that in by 2:55 on Wednesday in order to be marked as present for that day. Of course, this would only be happening on those Wellness Wednesday, the advisory schedule, single period schedule days, is when we'll do the asynchronous learning. The digital notebook that is in Google Classroom is almost like a reference book for English this year. So it'll cover a lot of the topics that we're going to kind of hit throughout the year. So when it comes to reading and writing, if you find that your child maybe should have notes somewhere, like they should have written this down and this information should be accessible somewhere, you could probably check the digital notebook, and most likely it'll be in there. So the three categories that we're working on this year: reading, writing, obviously kind of the traditional English language arts skills, but also listening and speaking. And so we will be continue to use breakout groups in the distance learning setting, but also doing presentations, and then obviously continue that once we physically go back to school, where students are working on those three skill sets. Some tips I wanted to throw out there just based on how this year's going, but also things that have come up again and again as a middle school teacher that I hear from parents. Internet is a big issue right now. I know a lot of students are really they're trying to do their best, but that weak internet connection, that laggy computer is really a huge obstacle. Make sure if you are able and they have a Chromebook, try plugging in directly into the modem using an Ethernet cable. That should really dramatically improve your internet connection and make it quicker. And a lot of students also forget to restart or shut down their computers too, and they're leaving it on for 2-3 weeks at a time, which can also impact the computer's capability. So just little reminders like that might be kind of obvious to us as adults. Our students kind of overlook those things, so kind of guiding them with that. I don't know whether my child did the work or not. So the great thing about Google Classroom is you can see right away what assignments there are and whether it's done or not. The downside is that it is possible for a student to simply mark an assignment as done, even when it is not. So one thing you may want to check is don't just look to see that assignments are turned in, but click on the assignment and you should be able to see whether there is an attachment or not. And if it sounds like there should be some sort of document or picture or something the student should have turned into the teacher, that file is attached to the assignment. Otherwise, when the teacher goes around to grading it, it'll be marked as missing because there's no work there. My child struggles to stay organized, so we have this very beautiful oak crest planner. In English class, I make all of the students at the beginning of class get it out, open it, and we write in it together. And if they have their cameras on, I'm kind of looking for them to be writing on something. So please make sure that they are using it. If there is stuff written in it, they should be checking it once it's homework time and actually using what's written in it. If there's nothing written in it, that might be a great place to start for our students who are struggling with organization, that the first step should be writing everything down, making a list, and kind of keeping ourselves organized. My child will need more one-on-one support, so we're trying to incorporate the student support time once the classes are over at 1:35. And so just so you know, English help is going to be offered on Mondays or Fridays between 1:45 and 2:15. So the Google Meet will be available in Google Classroom once we finalize the schedules for all the different classes. But that's another opportunity where your child can get some more one-on-one help, some extra support if they feel like they need it, get their writing proofread by me, ask me follow-up questions about an assignment or what have you. So that concludes my presentation. Hopefully it wasn't too long. There's my email again if you don't already have it. Please reach out to me. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. And so far, it's been a real pleasure. I know it's digital, and it kind of just makes me think how much more awesome it would be if we were in class, because so far in the digital setting, it's been a lot of fun kind of doing these icebreakers and kind of listening in on their breakout group meetings, and watching and listening to them work as a group and as a team to kind of figure out tech issues, figure out content knowledge. And so I'm looking forward to better getting to know your child. I'm looking forward to going back to the classroom physically. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. We're all in this together. I know that it's been a challenge. I have 3 little ones myself at home, with my husband and I both working at home. So I know it's tough. I know it's a challenge. And so please know that we're all in this together. And again, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns.